Chris. So like we did before, why don't you give us a brief little introduction on yourself?
Okay, my name is Chris Colwell, and approximately 5 years ago, I was involved in a skydiving accident. I had myself and my student jumped out of the plane on a routine skydive, and around 8,000 feet, we had a separation, and it caused us to collide, and I was paralyzed instantly from the chest down.
So where were you paralyzed?
I was paralyzed in the sky around 8,000 feet.
Can we do that introduction? Like, my name is Chris Colwell, and I was paralyzed in the sky at 8,000 feet.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Chris Colwell, and I was paralyzed in the sky around 8,000 feet.
Great, man. Thanks. So tell us about your skydiving history.
My skydiving history started up north at a small drop zone in Connecticut, and it's just something that I tried one day for no reason. Always wanted to do it, and had a few extra bucks in our pockets, and a friend of mine just went and tried to do it, and I was hooked. That was it. It was quite simple. It was very easy to tell that day it was something I would want to do or pursue for the rest of my life, and that was it. That was all it took. I was a junkie from there.
So it was right off the bat that you decided to pursue it as a career?
Absolutely, I had no question. That's what I wanted to do.
What was special about the dive that? Let's start off with the day of the accident. Was there anything special about that day, or was it just a normal dive, one of many hundreds of dives that you've done? You were taking a student out, you were training?
What actually happened that day was it was a friend of mine that I was jumping with, and he happened to come into town for the weekend. So I had previously known him from my home drop zone. So it was just it was different than a regular routine day. It was more a little bit fun for me because I hadn't been jumping in a while. So it was a little bit of excitement versus a little bit of seriousness because I was also trying to give him some extra skills to help him better his own knowledge in skydiving. So it was for the most part a regular day, except that it was a little bit more fun than usual.
So I mean, it wasn't a work day. It was you were jumping for the fun of it that day.
It definitely wasn't a work day. It maybe could have been approached a little bit more as a work day than it was, but it wasn't. It had some fun involved in it, yeah, for sure.
Cool. Was there anything special about the dive that you guys were doing? Was there a name for the dive? Can you maybe tell us a couple of the technical things about you were explaining the sit down versus?
In the dive, what we were doing was just pretty much some routine head down, sit flying, what's called free flying transitions. I basically was trying to get a feel for where he was at in his jump levels, and that was just basically we'd make a plan on the ground to jump out of the plane and do some maneuvers, maybe some carving, facing each other on our heads, possibly going from sit fly transitions to head down transitions, and basically having a little fun and still involving some seriousness and some training into the few jumps that we had together.
So is jumping with an experienced jumper a lot different for you than jumping with an inexperienced jumper?
Yeah, jumping with an experienced jumper is much more relaxed, especially if you know the person and they've jumped with them a few times before. You can definitely have a lot more fun than if you are jumping with a student. When you're jumping with a student, in most cases it's meant to be treated very seriously because it is serious. You are involving your life. You are essentially giving up your life to teach this person some skills. So yeah, it's very different. It's much more pleasant to jump with someone who has experience, but unfortunately this doesn't happen very often.
What did you see when you looked over at your fellow diver and you saw that he was falling maybe too fast for you? I mean, tell us what went through your mind right then that made you decide to what do you call it when you free fall?
Yeah, I did when I decided to
nose
the
dive?
head down position. what actually happened, the critical moment, the part that was critical was where he stayed on his head, and because of his weight, he was a little bit faster than I was. I just, knowing that the difference in our size and our free fall rate, I knew that the only way I could catch him, or the fastest way to catch him in my mind, was to transition to my head. I was definitely not considering that some of the alternatives, which maybe he was slowing down himself at the same time. But that was the last sight I saw of him, was him speeding up, and that my intention there was to catch him. I was probably doing it more with the idea that we were having fun versus thinking about the bad things that could go wrong, for example, in an actual training skydive. That was the last I saw of him, and there my only plan was to catch up with him and continue the skydive, which didn't happen.